So it has to be one of the most popular drinks in the UK, and today we're going to take a look at Prosecco. Hello and welcome to the Grape Explorer, where we celebrate the world of wine. On this channel we do wine education, product reviews and lots of tastings, so if you're interested in wine, consider subscribing. You know, Prosecco really is one of the most popular drinks in the UK, so much so that a few years ago there was concern over a Prosecco shortage in the UK, leaving millennials wondering what exactly they were going to drink when it came to the weekend or any other type of celebration. Prosecco must be produced in specific areas of Italy, specifically northeast Italy, and carries with it DOC and DOCG classifications, the latter of which is considered a superior classification of Prosecco. Now when it comes to the actual drink itself, there is predominantly one grape varietal that's included, and that's called Glera. Although up until 2010, the grape varietal was actually called Prosecco, and it was therefore changed to protect the name Prosecco and to ensure that the grape wasn't grown in other areas of the world claiming to be Prosecco. The Glera grape itself must make up a minimum of 85% of the wine if it is to be blended, and there are a number of other varietals with which it can be blended with, some of which are going to be familiar for other types of sparkling wine, things like Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and then you're going to get some other regional varietals as well, things like Veneto. I think many of us are going to be familiar with the bubbles that are in Prosecco, and there are actual classifications for how bubbly your wine can be. So at the very high end of bubbles, it's called spumante. I've got a spumante here with me today. Fewer bubbles in the glass is referred to as frizzante, and then there is actually a still version of Prosecco available as well, which is known as tranquillo. As well as classifications for the bubbliness of Prosecco, there are also classifications for how sweet the wine is as well. So it goes through brut, dry and extra dry styles. And this is all dependent upon how much residual sugar is left in the drink when it's being produced. Now, talking about production of Prosecco is produced using something called the tank method. So unlike champagne, where your second fermentation takes place in bottle, when it comes to the production of Prosecco, the second fermentation takes place in the tank. And this tank method influences the style and quality of the wine in a number of ways. It would be considered less complex from a secondary aroma perspective. Because it's in a tank for the secondary fermentation, there's less likelihood of those yeasty characters being present in the wine. And what that means is you actually end up with something of a fresher style. Those fruit characteristics are very much at the fore of Prosecco, and this is what you're going to be enjoying when you have a glass. And because of this tank method used in the production of Prosecco, the wines themselves will not be suitable for aging. Prosecco is best enjoyed very young and very fresh. And I should add, it's also enjoyed very chilled. It's a good idea to really chill down your glass of Prosecco to get the most out of it and to allow those bubbles to really have some freshness as you're enjoying the drink. Another reason Prosecco is so popular, and the tank method kind of is a influence on this, is that it's a little bit kinder on your wallet than champagne would be. The tank method is a cheaper method of production, and that means, of course, once it's been bottled and shipped and available to purchase, it's going to be a little bit more palatable when it comes to spending money on it. And so why is Prosecco so popular in the UK and so many other countries around the world? Well, one school of thought is that because of the financial crisis 10 years ago and because of recessions that are suffered by countries, people seek out suitable alternatives where they can't necessarily afford something. Prosecco has become a really good alternative to champagne and is far and away a much more wallet-friendly type drink that can be enjoyed really at any time of the year, not just celebrations. Like I say, we enjoy it throughout the year, regardless of what the occasion is. And I just think it makes for a really nice, fresh, refreshing drink. Now, what can you expect to get from your Prosecco from an aroma and from a palate perspective? Well, because it is produced in northeast Italy, slightly cooler than some of the other Italian regions, and because it goes through that second fermentation in tank, we're talking about really fresh fruit aromas and palate. So on the palate, you're going to be looking at green fruits, some citrus fruits. Things like melon, apple and pear are really popular when it comes to Prosecco. And if it has been a particularly hot summer, which may have had an effect on the grapes, you're going to start to get into more of the stone fruit type characters. This particular one that I'm enjoying today is all about the green fruit. Lots of apple, lots of pear with this one. Really refreshing, as you can imagine. And that's the same on the palate as well. There's some lemon, some lime, but really it's green fruit. It's apple and pear. And that's what you can expect generally from most Proseccos. They're going to be on that green fruit side of characters. Simple, yet enjoyable. One last thing to note about Prosecco is that it's incredibly food friendly. It will really pair very well with a number of things, particularly things like cured meats and fruit driven appetizers. So it's quite versatile from that perspective as well. Probably another reason why it's so popular. But over to you, what do you think about Prosecco? Do you have a favourite one? There's so many to choose from, not only here in the UK, but I'm keen to see how it's well received around the world as well. Let me know in the comments section below. I'm the Grape Explorer. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Cheers.